Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. The Met Gala is approaching, and as everybody that loves fashion, you know, it's literally the Super Bowl of fashion, and I love it. Like, I love it. Although I have no ties to it, I'm not invited, I don't care, I don't, gain anything, but it's really amazing and it's really beautiful. And each year I am imagining myself wearing things inspired by my own personal interpretation of the theme. This year's theme is the Garden of Time, which is inspired by a short story of the same name by J.G Ballard. By the way, hi, my name is Mariam. I'm going to be looking over here because I just published an article on my personal Medium page. I'm going to link it down below if you're interested, where there are where there are different links and things. I'm going to be looking over here because it's a structured article, and I'm going to be kind of narrating that in today's episode. Also, in today's video, and not episode, I'm not doing a podcast right now. I'm going to be talking about the story that inspired the theme, the Met Gala theme, and my key takeaways from it, my personal takeaways from it, because I read it. Hi, it's really short, it's beautiful, it's amazing. Wow, look, I'm haunted by it. The second part would be all about the context of this story in fashion, in the sense of like the fashion art. The third point would be my predictions on, the red carpet looks, what people would wear, and what designers maybe they would wear. And my fourth point would be what I would wear and options that I would think of if I was invited to the Met Gala of this year, 2024. So first of all, let's talk about the Met Gala theme. The Met Gala theme is the Garden of Time. As I told you, it's inspired by a story that shares the same name, and there is an exhibition. So basically how it works, the Met Gala happens annually on the first Monday of May, and it is a fundraiser event in hopes of raising funds for the exhibition that would be held into the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. The exhibition would be open to the public, so if you're in New York or if you're around that area, you can go there. It's public, you can go there and absorb the beauty. And the theme for that exhibition would be called Sleeping Beauties, Reawakening Fashion. So every piece that's curated there is themed under Sleeping Beauties, Reawakening Fashion. But the night where you see all of those celebrities, walking those stairs up into the abyss, the theme of it is the Garden of Time. So I was like, Mariam, I have nothing to do, I love fashion so much, why not read this? And I read it. Although it's only 6 pages long, I took a lot of notes. It's really amazing. I love it. Even though it's only 6 pages long, it's really condensed in detail. It's maybe because I have some brain rot, I'm addicted to my phone kind of, but it's such an amazing story, and I invite everybody to read this, whether you love fashion or not, because it's amazing. I've never read anything from J.G. Ballard. So yeah, when I first heard of the theme, of the exhibition theme, Sleeping Beauties, I was like, did Kim K inspire that because she wore that one infamous Marilyn Monroe dress 2 Met Galas ago? Yeah, the one for 2022, I believe. The Gilded Glamour one, right? And, people were like, oh my God, she ripped the historical piece apart. Oh my God, blah, blah. To me, I was never mad about it, because to me, that was an art performance. To me, it was, oh my God, I'm the icon of this time. Let me reference another icon of the time. And to me, it was good. I literally never hated Kim K for that. I was really thrilled when I heard of the exhibition theme, because I was like, we will definitely get to see things that we didn't see for decades, things that were preserved, things that we forgot about, things that we thought were gone, where, whatever, things that are reconstructed, reimagination of things, historical pieces, whatever. It's definitely gonna be an interesting exhibition, and I'm gonna be trying to see pictures of it online, finding it illegally or legally, we don't know about that, but yeah. And when I heard of the dress code for the night, I was kind of disappointed. I was like, really, the Garden of Time? That's kind of okay. When I was trying to imagine what people would wear, I was like, florals, garden, fauna, things that are natural, time. Everybody, literally this summer, 2024, every girl, that's fashionable, not even stylish, because there is a difference, is definitely gonna wear florals. So if you're gonna just pull up to the Met Gala wearing florals because this designer dressed you, that would be literally the most boring fucking thing ever. So I don't want to see a lot of that. I want to see less of that. this year, because fashion is getting commercial, blah blah, whatever. But I want fun. I want risks. I want risks to be taken. I want moments. I want Lady Gaga to change into 4 fucking outfits. I want that because that is iconic. So yeah, let's first talk about the story and my own interpretation of The Garden of Time by J.G. Ballard. I'm going to be reading from here again. If you want to read with me, link in bio, or just listen, because it's the same, honey. I wrote that. Anyways, the theme is inspired by a story of the same name. I've been chronically... Oh, okay, I actually told that to you, so whatever. I told you, I wrote that, so... The story is about, I'm gonna do a summary of this story. The story is about a couple, a count and his wife, living lavishly in a beautiful Palladian villa, immersed in their own little yet big world, intoxicated by the pleasures that their art and belongings offer. One evening, on his usual walk, the count noticed an advancing mob in the far horizon moving towards the villa. He then picked a thyme flower in hopes of stretching the serene moments before the sunset. It worked! The mob would retrieve a little back each time a flower ceased. So each time he picked a flower, a thyme flower, it's a fictional thing, the mob would just retrieve a little. The count kept on picking flowers, although the couple knew that the garden was dying. This is a quote from the story. The flowers were magical, but they needed time to grow like any normal one does. On the last evening, the wife picked the last remaining thyme flower. The mob momentarily receded. The couple held hands, watching the mob taking over the villa. And then shortly after they became inanimate, stone statues. The mob's massive impact shaking the villa didn't break the frozen stone statues because of the barbed foliage that surrounded and protected them. The mob then pressed through the house towards the open doors on the north side. A short while after, in the last moments of the sunset, a single ray of light glanced through a shattered cornice and struck the rose in the countess's delicate hands, reflected off the whirl of petals onto the statues, lighting up the gray stone so that for a fleeting moment it was indistinguishable from the long vanished flesh of the statue's originals. And all of this, like a final paragraph, it's quoted just from the story's final paragraph. So yeah, basically they were living lavishly, like in ornate environment. They were living lavishly in a very ornate environment, surrounded by art, surrounded by paintings. They had a library, and yeah, they lived like a very beautiful life. And then one day, all of that got disrupted by a mob. Even though they tried to, let the mob kind of retrieve a little, it did not work. Anyways, we have a picture here that I did with the AI because I can't paint. But look at it, it's so pretty. Like, oh, you can't see it actually, but go to my blog and you will see it. Anyways, so while reading, I marked every reference to time, space, and laws of physics in green. So all of these, green ones, they appear as yellow right here. You can't really see them, but they are actually green. And I highlighted every detail about fauna and the garden in red. And also highlighted every instance of human behavior in the context of time and the garden in brown, so that I could have a general understanding and break down what the author was trying to say. I used a lot of green. After trying to see what I did, I used a lot of green. Perhaps went overboard with brown because I like to get philosophical about how humans act, even in the simplest forms. The red highlighted the description of the beauty of the villa, the garden, and the set where the count and his wife lived. So there, in the red parts, there's multiple beautiful descriptions of their beautiful environment. That's very unusual because they were like the highest echelon, upper, whatever that word. Towards the end, though, the red will describe the destruction, which was regarded and narrated as bad. The destruction was regarded as bad, but I'm gonna tell you in just like a little time that I don't think destruction is bad. Anyways, so for the garden part, my understanding for the garden part, and it's a very crucial word in the theme of this year's Met Gala. So for the garden part, my takeaway from this short story is that nature or the garden exists around us for all of our lives. It might seem remote or maybe dull, or it can seem illuminated and brighter at times. It's all in our perception of it because we're the only species that gets to talk, paint, sing about the garden or nature, but it will exist regardless. In the macro, whether it appears dull or bright, and in the micro, whether it appears simple or detailed. So basically, my general understanding is that nature is just nature. You just can't, like, see it as good, see it as bad. The count was describing the plain that surrounded the villa as like dull and remote, and his garden as beautiful and bright. But how? It's the same sun, it's the same air, the air is still, the same, and the sun is still the same, whether in the plain or in your villa. And yeah, I said that just right now. Nature is not beautiful nor ugly. Nature and the garden and the flowers are just nature, garden, and flowers. Nature exists in infinite ways. We can only reference, celebrate, protect, destroy, and be inspired by it infinite and limited ways because we are humans with a time deadline unlike it. The flowers, though fragile in nature, helped the couple immensely. Flowers, the flowers that were used to reverse the time and to just stretch the time and save themselves a little. They were very delicate, they were very beautiful, but they helped immensely. So, you see something fragile, but it helps immensely against a mob that had, like, multiple carts. It was an army, and they were definitely more savage, more strong in comparison to a flower, but a flower did more. Flowers are a symbol of power and resilience in many historical instances. As humans, we use flowers to revolt. We use flowers as a symbol of resistance, resilience. You can see it in multiple past revolutions, in multiple historical events that are happening currently. For the time part, humans like to stretch time. We are obsessed with the concept, hence why the fantasy about freezing our bodies to come back again. The endless trials of inventing a time machine. The fated need of writing on walls of caves. Painting, inventing cameras, and coming up with conservation techniques, all for stretching the joy of a given abrupt moment, all for wanting to revisit a set. Physics is built around the laws of time. Simple phenomena like expansion and contraction require time to manifest. So it's just trying to get philosophical, whatever. Like, it's good though. Like, I read that. Anyways, the Count noticing the mob required time because he noticed the mob, like, slowly on his usual evening walks. Him describing the mob in detail required time. When you get to this, when you have the privilege to describe something in detail, that means you looked at it for a lot of time. So he required time to get into that mindset and into that description. Him drawing the comparison between the mob's detail and the Goya landscape required time. The Goya landscape itself required time to be painted, to be varnished, to oxidize. There are many words that describe time in the story, almost too many, like pace, forward, size, appearing, visible, blah, blah. The Count's actions progress was based on his personal calculations. He would just perceive the mob, and he would just measure the advancement, how the mob advanced in his own calculations. Sometimes he would miss. He'd be like, oh, they are now in that, like, final crest, but no, they aren't. They are now here, but he would miss calculations because it's only his personal perception from the viewpoint of his villa, and that's it. He could never change how, the time that the sun needed to set, because the sun was still setting, the flowers were still growing, the mob was still advancing. Regardless, he could only control some of his time. A different character might react slower or faster than Axel did. I will sure react faster and run away from that villa, okay? Not rely on some magical flowers. Pack my bags, not even pack my bags. I would just, accept the fact that my beautiful art collection would be decayed, but I don't care. I am gonna run away with my beautiful wife. You get what I mean? I'm not gonna just, like, stay there and kill my wife. I'm a man. I need to do something about it. Anyways, time can only be reversed, observed, or changed in very limited ways. We don't need the fictional time flowers to stretch it. Conserving art, inventing the camera, and all sorts of time-bending attempts by humans are enough to do so, but in a very limited capacity, just like the disappearing time flowers with each consumption. Humans tend to solve current issues by consuming things at a faster pace. For example, we do it with our natural resources. Our strive for stretching the comfort that we built in the 21st century made us consume our assets rapidly because we're so used by, the comfort, and we keep on consuming. We're like, oh, but I'm so used. I want to stretch, that comfort that we knew. A lot of us knew, especially Gen Z. We've been here with beautiful, like a lot of food, abundant energy, abundant everything, and but our assets are actually running dry, and the time it needs for them to come back is actually slower than our lifetime. So we need to think about that. You can read more of that there. I'm trying to attempt to click on the link. If you strategize better, blah, 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 I don't care. So yeah, the vicious cycle of creation and destruction is built around the laws of time. Maybe all attempts to no, I actually wanna uh we will yeah, no, I will read this. Will we watch our end like the couple did, because we consume a lot of our resources at a very rapid pace? If he strategized better and left the palace sooner without making the time flowers go extinct, maybe he would have survived. But can humans make a big change in the course of fated events, or will the cycle take place regardless of our efforts to reverse it? The vicious cycle of creation and destruction is built around the laws of time. Maybe all attempts to reverse it are in vain, because time kind of works regardless of what we do, and time has its own trajectory and its own dimensions that we don't understand. We only perceive time from a humanly standpoint. So maybe all of our attempts to save ourselves, to, like I was criticizing the count. I was like, maybe run, but maybe it was fate. He was glued to his villa. You get what I mean? Anyways, I'm trying to like act smart. Oh my god, like, why do I look like this? Anyways, guys, I have to run. Oh my god, it's actually okay. No, I have to run. For the human part, the very comfortable life of the couple influence their behavior. Duh, I wrote that actually. Go there and watch. We are a read. We are a reflection of our environment after all. So did the environment of the angry mob. The Count's attitude towards the danger of the mob was a reflection of his arts and his belongings. The Count, he is definitely well educated, and sometimes even his description of the mob was, you can tell that he is a very educated man. And the mob was not based on the description of the Count, basically only. The Count's attitude towards the danger of the mob was a reflection of his arts and his belongings, which were a lot. Had he not been a Count, would he have turned to time flowers to solve the problem? Had he lived not too far from people, would he describe the mob differently? His behavior and collected attitude were fitting to him. We need destruction to appreciate creation. Creation requires destruction. Basically, for creation to happen, we need to destroy some things. If I wanted to create a painting, I need to, extract colors from nature or from whatever that is destroying the essence of a flower or whatever to create color. If I needed to create a house, to create a piece of furniture, I needed to chop down trees. So I needed to destroy something and something to create. And destruction requires creation. Basically, for destruction to exist, it needs a creation of certain events. For example, the rise of cults, inventing of guns, all of those would help us destroy better. This cycle won't be disrupted. What we can change, though, is our behavior towards it, and it all relies on our level of consciousness. Had the Count walked outside his high-walled villa and interacted with commoners, had he observed the remote and dull plain better, maybe he would have avoided destruction. Had the mob observed life and nature, had they seen the warmth and joy of the villa's garden, had they seen the couple's love and their passion for arts, maybe the mob would have preserved the creation. So maybe the mob would just, what is this right now? Like, I'm so sorry, guys. I was trying to go for a look, but whatever. Like, today we're acting smart. We don't care about looks. So yeah, basically, if, both of these parties walked out of their sheltered view, out of their, just, one-dimensional, look, maybe they would have noticed that there is a cycle of destruction coming sooner. Maybe they would have saved themselves. Maybe the mob would have acted differently. So yeah, yeah. They were mediocre. I just the Count and his wife. Yeah, basically, and the Count and his wife kept distracting themselves from the up and coming phase of destruction. They were cool about it. Humans tend to do that a lot. I see it. I swear to God. Do you see what's happening in the world right now? And we're just cool about it. I swear to God, it's crazy. I feel like I'm going crazy at times, and I go back to my social media, and then I go on other parts, of social media, and I see people suffering, and I'm like, what the fuck? But then, oh, I can't do anything about it, and what we just accept things right now, and I'm guilty of that too. So basically, yeah, they were cool about it. Humans tend to do that. We tend to just accept that times are changing and we do nothing about it. That's why times change, actually. There needs to be a natural reset from time to time for us to appreciate what we have when we get too consumed by it. Like the case of being entertained 24/7 for the couple, and like the case of being angry in confusion for countless evenings for the mob. So basically, the mob abused and, just like did a lot of destruction, and they were just like a lot of intense they did a lot of intense actions based on just one singular polar, like, you get what I mean? They were just too consumed by destruction, and the couple, they were too consumed by creation. Had they interacted with each other, had they seen that different parts exist, had they were grateful that both of these things happen, maybe they would have avoided the death, and just destroy the villa being destroyed. So maybe that. Yeah, we need to be aware of how fast time changes, and we can't just accept the end and decay. That's like very stupid. We need to notice it sooner, be around it, not shelter ourselves in a high-walled villa just like the couple did. These were my personal takeaways from the story. And now, what can all of this mean in the context of fashion? I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, what can all of this mean in the context of fashion? So basically, on the 6th of May, we might honor nature, flowers, elements of a garden. These elements might seem delicate and fragile, but they can protect you, actually. Just like the case of this story that I just was explaining it to you from my own personal, interpretation. They might seem permanent. The nature that we have might seem permanent because as soon as you open your eyes to this world, you've seen nature around you. It's just a normal part. It exists. So sometimes you might not notice it, because you would only notice things that are unusual, and you would take nature for granted because it's very permanent to you. It's very dull. It's very remote. And because we get used to them, but they are far more interesting. Nature is far more interesting than we might think. And actually, we expire without it, even though we don't think about that often. We also might honor from this story in the context of fashion, we might honor how we fantasize about stretching time, about reversing it, about all in vain or for a very limited fraction. We need to use our natural assets carefully because they cease at one point or another. And we can't keep on ignoring this big ass elephant in the room, just like the couple did. So there's that. We might warn, some people can take just like me. When I was reading the story, I was like, okay, this is kind of talking about climate change. Okay, that's how I viewed it. So if any person reads the story and is preparing a look for the Met Gala, they might warn about the reality of climate change and the state of our earth. Time is working against us, and we can't keep on picking time flowers from the comfort of our villas. The flowers end, after all, and the mob is approaching. We have to strategize better. We might also visualize during the gala that there is a very big fact of an endless cycle of destruction and creation. That's basically an installed default in our system. We are born with it. Like, only God can change that, basically. Which might appear pessimistic. We fantasize about permanent creation, but that's very unrealistic. Humans love to destroy, and that's good because how would we know the sweet taste of creation without the angry mob? People ask artists to give us beams of hope all the time, but many artists actually would turn down these requests because if you get deep and observant, if you observe life a lot, if you get spiritual about it, you might conclude that all good that we do is in vain because destruction will inevitably happen next. It will be definitely the next phase. So that's a very pessimistic point of view. You can reference that in fashion and in the garment that you're gonna wear to the Met Gala. We might pay homage to art and history conservators who sometimes had to be killed protecting and stretching the time of how many generations would enjoy looking at the art. The likes of Khalid al-Assad, I speak Arabic, I'm just gonna say it in Arabic. The likes of Khalid al-Assad could be honored during the night. So basically, if you go to my blog post and click the link, it would take you to, this is a story that I think about from time to time, I swear to God. Basically, this archaeologist, his name is Khalid al-Assad. He is Syrian, and he was killed by ISIS because ISIS, apparently they were like, telling him to. I look beautiful. I had to do a water break, close the balcony doors, and open the light over me. Guys, this is a webinar. Do not care about the quality. This is all about the fashion, okay? This is all about what I thought, when I was reading this, and I'm just sharing my excitement with you guys. So basically, maybe in the last scene, there was a lot of noise because it was Adhan time. I'm Muslim, I told you. No, I didn't. I told you that I'm Arab, but basically, yeah. And yeah, whatever. So I am just gonna go back to the point real quick that I was last talking about. Basically, my key takeaway from this story is, the couple basically they became a statue at the end, and they're conserved. Like, humans, how did we actually start making statues? Because we wanted to stretch a time. Because if I was a statue maker, sculptor, oh my god, I forgot. If I was a sculptor living and seeing a beautiful thinker, like somebody that's very intelligent of my time, I would sculpt them because I wanted them to live more. I wanted to stretch their livelihood. That's how art got created in a way sometimes. And conservators or sculptures or people that conserve art and people that because we have things that exist for hundreds of years, and maybe a lot of people actually thought of destroying them, maybe a lot of people attempted to destroy them, but a lot of people were like, no, this is art, we want to see more of it, we want the younger generation and our descendants to enjoy it, and sometimes they had to pay with their life for that. And a story that I always think about is this one story that of an archaeologist in his Syrian. His name is Khalid al-Assad, and basically ISIS tortured him and killed him because he refused to give away the address of like very ancient artifacts and ancient statues, because ISIS thinking, which is the destruction, it's the mob in this story, they were thinking that statues are idolatry, and the age of idolatry ended after Abrahamic religions came, which is, yeah, true. Abrahamic religions came and they were like, no to idolatry, but actually no prophet was destroying nothing. And these ISIS fuckers, they're just like brainwashed, but whatever, I don't care, I'm not gonna get too political today, okay? And basically the likes, so we might pay homage. If I was invited, I'm gonna do this actually. We might pay homage to art and history conservators. A lot of them actually, their hands sometimes they get chemical burns. A lot of them, when they are trying to, I don't know, dude, they might get caught away or like just die when they are trying to keep up a tomb, keep up something in the pyramids. I don't know, because these are ancient things and accidents happen in the works while you are an art. Well, what and accidents happen when you're a conservator and when you are somebody that preserves art. So basically, we might pay homage to art and history conservators who sometimes had to be killed protecting and stretching the time of how many generations would enjoy looking at the art. The likes of Khalid al-Assad could be honored during the night. We can also see beauty in destruction because, as as you might, or like, I don't know if this is something that most people would think about, because maybe because I told you I'm just a little bit philosophical, and I like to dramatize, and I like to think of things in a very dramatic way, but we can actually see beauty in destruction. Some might prefer the comfort and the abundance of the creation phase, but destruction birthed most artists and art eras, because when you're suffering, when you're living in a ghetto, when you're just like shit is, bombs are dropping on top of your head, that's when you create the best art, in my opinion, sometimes. But I don't know though. Preferring only the creation is lazy. We love the creation because we're peaceful, we're comfortable in it, but preferring it only and choosing it over the cycle of destruction, or the phase of destruction in this vicious cycle, is lazy and halfway missing the point. creation and destruction need each other to exist, and both serve as a source of inspiration. So somebody might talk about this in the context of fashion, how, some designers get actually inspired by the mob, this mob that was seen as, destructive and just mediocre, and just like bad. A lot of designers actually get inspired by war and by these instances, so that could be something that we might reference and we might see. If I was a designer, if I was a look maker, if I was invited, I'ma think, in this space. Yeah, we can also stretch the time of dyeing garment making traditions and techniques by wearing them during the night. So basically, I need to do a research about this, but if I was invited, I'm gonna do a research about, the dyeing, like garment making traditional techniques. Those like garment making techniques that are very old, that are passed down from generation to generation. And now we live in the age of like machinery and AI and things being industrial AF and fast fashion, blah, blah, blah. A lot of these traditions are actually dying, and the only person that would know the tradition would be like 90-year-old. They would be dead. We're human. We have a time deadline. So I might, if I was an yeah, that's the word, figure in fashion or in culture, I might honor or, wear a garment made by a dying tradition that's like on the verge of extinction, to make it cool, to make it trendy. And also in this night, we will see a lot of like vintage looks, pre-loved looks, recycled looks. And I'm actually, I think that's the current scene right now. It's inflation. People still love fashion. I am buying things pre-loved because they're cheaper. In the context of inflation, that's a very smart decision. And also, I want to, I don't want fast shit. Like, I hate fast fashion a lot. And most of my clothes are actually secondhand, which I love a lot. And yeah, the young generation are very aware of the climate crisis, and pre-loved is being popular again, right? Because it was popular before. I don't know though. Anyways, yeah, we can also remember and recreate forgotten or fragile gowns. So basically, if there is some gown that actually decayed, that's done for, we can recreate it. We can commission a designer to recreate it, to do it, to reconstruct it, to revision it. If a dead designer had a book, just wait. So if, I don't know, dude, for example, a lot of designers passed away in the last 3-4 years. It's crazy. There's a curse on the fashion world. That's like how I view it, if I'm being honest. But yeah, people will die, like whatever, unfortunately. But yeah, they might, when they just died, they might have left like some work unfinished. So to me, if I was like a lover and a fan of some sort of designer, I would try to imagine how that garment would be finished, or how that direction would end. Like the final destination of the vision. The last vision that designer had. I'm gonna do that if it was in mind again. And yeah, we can also try to imagine how modern attire would look after some decades. So basically, for example, right now I'm wearing jean. Jean is a very, 21st century, 20th century garment, and it's very like modern. We might try to, imagine it thousands of years from now. Maybe it decomposing, maybe it becoming, technological, maybe it, being, I don't know, dude, like shiny, maybe it disappearing, maybe because they say the bees are disappearing, and they say a lot of things are going extinct and we're doomed, and we need like bees, we need nature, we need all of these things so that we can create the garment, because natural fabrics are from nature, right? So we might imagine how natural fabrics also, and or plastic fabrics that take a lot of years to biodegrade, how they would biodegrade eventually, how we need to enjoy some handmade techniques before they become forgotten. We need to change our buying patterns in a way. We can't just only buy things that are from big houses. We need to sometimes support the smaller artists and artisans, because their traditions and handmade techniques, it is very hard to keep up. It's very costly to just do a work from scratch, thousands of hours. And yeah, a lot of people prefer like something ready to wear, but you can do that a little, because it's good. Because then we will regret it when these things go extinct, and what our world and clothes would look like when certain species go extinct. So yeah, basically, if we imagine the climate crisis becomes really bad and bees go extinct, flowers go extinct, whatever goes extinct, silkworms go extinct, we might actually would never have clothes ever. Anyways, guys, that was the second segment of this video. Right now, I'm gonna be trying to predict, because I love predicting. I love thinking about the future. Like, I love just imagining things in my brain. That's my fiction. I really hate fiction in works of art. Like, I don't understand fiction most of the time, because to me, like, what the fuck? Like, why do you imagine, like, things that would never happen? But I love, like, fiction with things that could happen. So basically the future. Anyways, so let's predict the future of the Met Gala, which would happen next Monday. I have a lot of beautiful AI generated images. I swear to God, they're so good. You can't see them. Go click on the link down below and you will see them. Basically, yeah. Of course, like any other Met Gala in the past, God knows how many years, people interpret things literally. So in that, we can play with the words garden, time, sleeping, flowers, lake. In the story, there's a mention 2 times, 3 times of a lake. The stone statues, the end of the story. And the end of any story is an important moment because you anticipate the end. So basically, stone statues, although they were mentioned once, they are very important. The sun, the foliage, clocks, time, clocks, physics, sleeping, blah, 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 blah. So all of these things, because sleeping from the exhibition theme. So all of these things, we might interpret them literally. Designers have long been inspired by nature, including flowers to their work. Wearing just any look that features flowers would be lazy, but wearing iconic history-making looks that feature flowers is a more thoughtful way in the context of Ballard's story. And that would be very much appreciated, if I'm being honest. If you're just gonna like pull up to the Met Gala and you're a house ambassador of like a house, and you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, do me that like runway look with some flowers because the themes, that would be lazy as fuck. Have some thought, tell the story, lie about it. Like, I don't know, give us something. Like, that's fashion. And I don't know, here I highlighted, I had like a link when I mentioned the word iconic history making looks. And when you click on it, you're gonna be hacked. I'm sorry, I'm joking. You're gonna go to, because the image is copyrighted, I'm not gonna, show it to you, but basically to the Alexander McQueen, the show Sarah Band, Spring Summer 2007, and basically the show featured live flowers, flowers that are like real, and they would, as the model would walk, the flowers would fall down. And actually, Alexander McQueen later, he said that he never intended for the flowers to become that romantic thing. It just happened. And in McQueen's words, remember Sam Taylor Wood's Dying Fruit? Things rot. It's basically this story. This look is basically this story. And it's actually, I think it's going to be shown in the exhibition, if I'm not mistaken. I used flowers because they die. My mood was darkly romantic at the time. So basically that's what he said. And yeah, that's a look. That's a look. Like, I swear to God, somebody should wear that or recreate that or do something like that. Anyways, and here the AI generated images are of this model walking with pillows, this one walking with clocks. This is AI, not real, but you are a designer, you can make it. I swear to God, I should become a designer or some shit. I need to be invited to the Met Gala. I would love this shit. And here, like flowers, like a very floral look, from a thoughtful flower look, not just any flower look. Something like the Alexander McQueen one. Do you get what I mean? If you're gonna just do a lazy ass look that features flower, you're done for. I swear to God. I'm gonna stop fanning over you. And here we have a dress that features like statues, a stone statue, and it's like freezing time because statues and sculptures are meant to freeze time and whatever. And you can have a garden in a statue like fabric in a way to freeze time, blah blah. So these are my predictions. So in this like pool, some looks I think would happen right here. So a lot of flowers, of course, hopefully with intention. A stone statue, clock, sleeping, referencing the human cycle of sleep, sleeping patterns, the nightmares that we have when we sleep, blah blah blah. And also we might see the imagination or the factual representation of how time impacts clothes, the garden of time. and how some of our modern attire can wither. And it would be so beautiful to see molding torn pieces. Oh, gowns, I said. Like here, look at the AI, swear to God, look at that molding fucking fabric. Like, I want that. I would wear that, you know? And also, we would definitely see a lot of archival looks, and that would be the best thing ever. Even if people would just be lazy and just wear flowers in just a literal way. I would love to see archival looks. You know, a lot of Dior, perhaps, because I'm pretty sure in the exhibition there will be a lot of Dior. Things that are like from the 40s, 30s, 2000s, any era, just something that we don't see, like something that's very hidden from the public. Maybe also recycling some old looks, pre-loved fashion, and extending the time of our garments. This is the new wave already. So basically, you know, if you are a celebrity, an established one, you might recycle your own. You might recycle your own, like a look that you did in the past that was iconic. You might just wear it again. Why not? You know, it's very fitting, I feel, in the theme. We might also see some looks warning us about climate change. Sorry, that's what I took away from the short story personally. So if you know we see some climate activists being invited, because a lot of them get invited, like wear something that screams, we don't have a lot of time. We can't just keep on, you know, putting our index into our eye, just like the couple did in the story, and we would just accept the distraction phase. Oh yeah, the mob is approaching. Let me pick the last flower in a romantic way. Hold your hand, my love. No, we have to do something about it. Okay, we can't just accept our, you know, end like that, because it doesn't work like that. I swear to God, that's really weird. Like, humans are weird, I swear to God. Anyways, now let's get into the fun part, which is what I would wear if I was invited. I have 5 options for you, and I swear to God, I keep on like imagining them in my head. And what is this? And oh my God, it's like really amazing, and I would love to see this being worn. Anyways, the first option would be a gown that has a written message. Think of the iconic Victor and Rolf slogan gowns, which like are, you know, gowns that I think about a lot. And I would love, no, I would have a hunting message about how we don't have as much time as we think to stop running dry our resources. So basically, I'm gonna just like brainstorm a very, very like hunting. You know, if you go to a protest and you have that like sign that stays with you when you read it, something like that. Brainstorm that and have it printed, have it embroidered on a gown, in the style of Victor and Rolf. And the message would be framed by beautiful flowers, perhaps recreating the description of the time flowers, because there is some description of time flowers that we might also see as a prediction. We might also see on the, you know, the red carpet look. So yeah, the flowers are delicate, they are frozen, blah blah blah. So I'm just gonna have a look that has a message so in your face, but you know, bordered by beautiful, very beautiful flowers, that might reference the time flowers on this story, in this story. And why the hunting message would be bordered by beautiful things, because it's how we act as humans. We distract ourselves from the happening thing, just like as the couple did. And yeah, I might do that if I was invited. And to distract us from the videos, just like whatever, yeah, I said that. And yeah, here is the AI generated image. See, it says like some gibberish and climate change, and yeah, Victor and Rolf at the back right there. And yeah, I might do something like this. It's beautiful, it's coquette, it's like, you know, soft, flower delicate, but honey, you're dying. I'm just gonna write that, honey, you're dying. Okay, we don't have enough time. You know that like clock in God knows what city that tells you how many years we have as humans to live because of climate change, whatever. I'm just gonna do something like that. Oh, you actually have like a live clock that mentions that as I wear the flowers. Oh my God, that would be so good. Anyways, option number 2, if I were an established celebrity with some iconic red carpet looks, I would recreate one of them with a twist. I'll let you see how they will biodegrade and how they would look after my death or after a long time happens on them. I would try to romanticize the jinxing thought of seeing myself decompose, play into, you know, the death principle, and the inevitable, circumstance, not circum, end outcome, whatever. And for example, if I were Lady Gaga, that meat dress, the iconic meat dress, and I was invited to this year's Met Gala, I would basically just rewear it, but the meat would be moldy. Not real meat, just like the real dress, because moldy meat on top of your skin, I don't think that's good. But like, some recent art, those like real things that look real but they aren't. Meat that's molding, decomposing, earthworms eating it, flies, something like that. That would be literally, to me, that would be something that I would wear if I was Lady Gaga, if I was an established celebrity. I'm gonna just recreate something that I wore, an iconic moment of mine that I would be, remembered by if I die, when I die, just like, iconic looks from Marilyn Monroe. And I'm gonna just let you see them, how they would biodegrade eventually, because they will. Clothes don't stay for years, they will. Or I would just play onto my own death. And that would be so beautiful, I swear to God. Or if I was J.Lo, I would pull up to the Met Gala with a torn and biodegrading version of the iconic green Versace dress. So it would be the green Versace dress, but torn, biodegrading, dissolving, being extinct. You get what I'm going extinct. And or I will show up in a very real cosplay of a dead icon, or an imagination of how would the gone icons dress in a red carpet event in the 21st century. By that I mean, for example, if I was, really, really always inspired by a certain, actress from Hollywood, whatever, I will try to cosplay them, like have a whole on face of them on me painted or whatever, and cosplay them and dress as them if they lived in the 21st century and they were invited and they were alive in this year's Met Gala, and imagine how they would dress. So basically just playing with the time, conserving, stretching, just flipping things. I would do that. And yeah, just like how the statues come back to life for a fleeting moment through a single ray. So basically, try to make the audience that's watching the live stream of the red carpet see, oh my God, Michael Jackson is back. You get what I mean? Oh my God, Marilyn Monroe is not dead, for a moment, for a fleeting moment. I would do that. I would do that, I swear to God. Yeah, and here I have an AI image of me. Sorry, you can't really see it well. Oh yeah, see, it's like that green stuff. It's mold. Basically, if I was Lady Gaga, I'm gonna do that. I swear to God, that would be literally the best thing ever to do. Uh, yeah, option number 3. Portray the power of flowers in a look, the symbolism we associate with them. I don't know, reference some moments in history where we used flower as a symbol of resistance, to give to the army that was trying to kill us in revolutions. I've seen a lot of that before, but I can't just think of anything right now. I need to research how we use them to revolt and to live. So basically just, showcase, flowers, although they look very delicate, but they are very powerful and they help save lives. We honor the dead with them. We salute people with them. We pay homage to people with them. Flowers are very powerful. We can wear them in a very edgy way, in a very powerful way, or we can just like, just like this image, just pulling out strength from flowers. So yeah, recharging via flowers. Option number 4 would be a visualization, a gown that visualizes the time, and I would add maybe some element of physics in the creation of the gown. Get a little bit creative, use AI, use something in the gown, just make clothes being technologically advanced, because that would be us trying to jump into the future, just like how this story is, how I understood it. Time bending. And yeah, maybe have multiple clocks on my body with different time zones. Yeah, and if I was invited by a house, like a jewelry house, for example, most houses have iconic watches. So whatever house I'm affiliated with, I would have something iconic in their watch, like a watch of a lot of them, maybe like on my arms, that cost billions of dollars. Why not? Bitch, I can go camp, reference old things. I don't care. Also, I heard, I don't know where I've heard this. I swear, I forgot. I'm sorry, but I've read about this in an article while I was trying to research things for this video, and somebody was like, the Cartier Clash. You know that like time watch inspired by, you know, if the car getting into accident and the how the watch would look like. That's very okay. Destruction, time. That's very beautiful. I would wear that. Um, Maybe like commission, make Cartier make a choker of that, earrings. Cartier Clash everybody, you know, everywhere. And yeah, basically, let me show you the AI image. It's very beautiful. She's wearing this gown with a hourglass, sand glass, sand clock. What am I trying to say? Option number five. If I was invited with like if I had like a man with me, if I was invited as a plus one of a man, if we were a couple doing a show, basically, I would dress like the count and his wife with my plus one. This story, it's all about the count and his wife and their perception and everything. We don't hear a lot. We don't read anything actually about the mob and their perception. We just see descriptions, fleeting descriptions of them. But the countess, actually in the story, the count's outfit is described. He is wearing, I'm sorry, I have it here actually. He is a tall, imperious figure in a black velvet jacket, a gold tie pin glinting below his George V beard, cane held stiffly in a white gloved hand. And the wife, she was described once as wearing, if I could see this, if I could find this, her brocade evening dress. So she was wearing a brocade. She's rich, that's why brocade. Evening dress. So AI, I literally had to write a whole ass essay for AI to get this image. Look, look. Tell me that does not look realistic. I swear to God. Like wow, do you see that? This is gonna be. If I was a man, I'm gonna wear this and have my wife or my plus one wear that. If I was a woman, I'm gonna wear that. I have my plus one wear that. And if I was invited, I would wear definitely this with my plus man and have some honoring like pin that talks about conservators, or just have this commissioned via like you know handmade. I'm just gonna have it made handmade. You know what I mean? To stretch the time of a dying garment making technique, basically. I'm sorry. Yeah, nothing, right? Yeah. So yeah, that is literally the video. I'm so happy I created this blog post. I'm so happy that I wrote it. I feel so good. Like after just trying to understand and decode the theme for this year's Met Gala, I will be reviewing the Met Gala looks just a little like after the Met Gala, because sometimes when you would look at, you know, a certain look, how, you know, people pull up, it would, to you, would look very stupid, very dull, very just like, oh my god, really, flowers for spring for the Met Gala, like stop, okay? But then I would just watch the Vogue behind the scenes video or the notes of the designer or the interview, and then I'm like, wow, this is actually deeper than the like normal eye could see. So I would do some sort of review after the Met Gala ends on here, like long format video, but I will also do shorts. So subscribe to not miss this. And if you enjoy this, please, please, please give it a thumbs up, okay? And comment down below something and share it, because this means a lot to me, because I'm not doing this for anything. Like, I don't care. I have a very small YouTube channel. And yeah, I just like really am passionate about this, and I really love the Met Gala and fashion so much. And yeah, I look good today. Like, damn, like I love this look. It's given like what, it's not given. I'm not gonna talk about that because I need to go. I really need to go. And yeah, guys, thank you so much if you listened to this whole. It's a podcast episode already, and yeah, thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me everywhere. It's good to follow me. I swear to God, I'll make you. I'll take you to beautiful places. And yeah, happy Met Gala, and oh my god, I look so good. Like, on my trip, like, damn, stop. Anyways, and I just love fashion. Okay, and I need to stop yapping. I'm just trying to, make this go, round this up to an hour for it to be a perfect number, but I'm not gonna do that for you. Okay, what are we doing? Angel numbers? Spiritual psychosis? Oh, it has to be 1111? No, I'm just gonna upload this right now. And yeah, um, yeah. Oh, also, shut up, please. Don't close. My laptop is dying. By the way, this story it's free on the internet, so go read it. It's good. I'm just gonna start reading more short stories because I love this actually. And anyways, guys, by May, my birthday month, happy birthday to me, happy birthday to you if it's your birthday month or whatever. And yeah, I will see you in the next week reviewing the Met Gala looks, okay? And talking and yapping just like I did in this video. Bye bye. Love ya.